Las Palmas to Gran Canaria, fine metropolis of the Canarian archipelago. A city of many faces set within the Atlantic. With a romantic old town, harbour district, and a seemingly endless beach and promenade. The vibrant life of Las Palmas is in stark contrast to the general tranquility of the remainder of the island. It's a colourful, multicultural city with a great history. This, the royal city of palms, became a lively centre of culture and finance. At its heart is the La Vegueta district, with its winding streets and small buildings, the historic Old Town area. This is where the city's history began, when in 1477, Juan Rayon arrived in the bay and set up camp. The stately homes and churches take one back to the 15th century. The palm-lined Plaza Santa Ana is the centre of Vegueta, in which both spiritual and temporal power have existed since the conquistadors arrived here. The old town hall, the Casa Consistoral, was rebuilt in simple classical style following a devastating fire. Today, it's a symbol of bygone times. The square is dominated by the Santa Ana Cathedral, named after the patroness of the Spanish conquistadors. This imposing brownstone building, whose two towers dominate the old town, has been the largest religious building on the Canary Islands for many centuries. The grey basalt columns of the Gothic main building are in contrast to the pipe organ and carved wooden altars. A ribbed vault, elaborate pulpit, and expressive main altar shine out in all their former glory. For more than 400 years, a fascinating combination of styles gradually emerged. From the church tower, there's a magnificent view of the city and the sea, and history seems to come to life from here. Immediately after the conquest of the island, construction of the cathedral began. More people moved into the area, and the port was enlarged. The city flourished, and new districts formed around the port, which became a stopover on the transatlantic route. But prosperity also brought hostilities from pirates. The cathedral was destroyed by fire, but at the end of the 18th century, its reconstruction began. The largest city on the archipelago was founded in 1927 and became its capital. In 1492, on his first journey to the New World, Christopher Columbus landed in Las Palmas and spent a night in this building. Since then, the residence of the Spanish military governor was named after the famous explorer, hence Casa de Callejon. In the main stone portal there are exotic figures and ornaments that depict the spirit of this area. Two buildings were combined as one. The late Gothic palace of the island's governor together with a smaller private palace. Hidden beyond the external facade with its wooden balconies are peaceful inner courtyards with dark wooden galleries, a place of silent contemplation. Colonial everyday life takes place in cool courtyards, detached from the outside world, protected from intrusive eyes. Each detail an example of traditional, well-thought-out Canarian architecture and style. Opera tenor Alfredo Cross was born here in 1927. Today, the Casa de Callejon contains a museum. Upstairs there are paintings by both Dutch and Italian masters. The models of 3 ships of Columbus's fleet and various objects used during the expeditions of the great navigator document the travels of that period. The ships were small and the maps of the known world still relatively sparse. The Mercado de Vegueta is the city's oldest market hall and also the beating heart of this district. A colourful place. It's busy here from early morning with stalls displaying freshly caught fish and seafood, including sole, octopus and squid. There are fruit and vegetables too, with clever displays of bananas, avocados, figs and mangoes. There are also lots of free tastings to be had. The food here couldn't be fresher. Triana is the city's business district. The Parque San Telmo is one of many green spaces and begins at the end of the pedestrian zone, this splendid district's main street. Adorned with glazed tiles, the Art Nouveau Pavilion is now a cafe in which customers sit beneath tall palm trees and enjoy the park's atmosphere. Here there's a strong sense of joie de vivre. A stroll under beautiful palm trees and huge large-leafed rubber plants brings this island capital to life in a natural way. The triangular Plaza Carrasco in the southwest of the district was named after famous poet Bartolomé Carrasco de Figueroa. His bust is located outside one of the oldest theatres in the city, which was transformed into the Gabinete Literario, a literary salon, in 1884. Old trees, numerous benches, and magnificent buildings make this area a restful place to be. Accompanied by seasonal floral splendor. This prestigious district is Cuidar Yarin. This, the Garden City, became an exclusive residential area between the Old Town and the harbour, and was created by British merchants at the end of the 19th century. The spacious Parque de Ramas was named after the last Canarian sovereign, who sadly committed suicide. This imposing waterfall was designed to represent the overthrow of the rock, which saved Guancas from slavery by the Spanish. On the edge of the park is Pueblo Canario, a replica of a Canarian village, inspired by the watercolors of artist Nestor. Especially popular are stirring performances of folk dance and Canarian music. Here there's the traditional dance and song of the islands, with colourful costumes and nostalgic music. The Pueblo Canario was created to conserve both the culture and architecture of the Canary Isles. The predominantly Spanish audience from the mainland enjoys the sight of the fun-loving dancers whose temperament soon seems to transfer itself to those watching. No Canary Island is complete without a guitar, tambourine, and castanets. The folk songs are extremely popular and an important part of the Canarian soul. The women wear white tops and long flowing skirts. The men wear embroidered jackets, short skirts, and white leggings. They sing and dance here at each and every opportunity, with many festivals, each with its own character. one features its own individual music, dance and song, from melancholy to wild and spirited. The local people are proud and friendly and delight in showing off their island culture. As the islands have always served as a bridge between Europe and the rest of the world, the Canarios have developed into a colourful and diverse population. Throughout the year, there are many festivals which are a successful blend of religion, tradition, and the joy of life. Just off the Parque de Ramas is the Las Palmas Marina, which grows bigger each year and where summer sailing regattas take place. Moored here are hundreds of yachts that belong to wealthy islanders, as well as those vessels visiting the island. From here, the journey often leads across the Atlantic and into the Caribbean. Here, too, starts the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers, one of the world's most famous sailing regattas. Santa Catalina is the harbour district. The Parque Santa Catalina is the lively centre of this part of the town. Here, life takes place out in the open. Surrounded by palm trees, newspapers are read, locals gossip, play dominoes with friends, and generally have a relaxed time. It's particularly popular with the retired, while the cafes and bars keep busy around the clock. Puerto de la Luz is one of the largest ports in Spain. Oil and fish are loaded here, and it's a constantly expanding container port. It's a vital harbour as it serves as a hub for the most important ferry services between the other Canary Islands and as a stop for visiting cruise ships. It could be described as an Atlantic petrol station, because up to 100,000 ships refuel here with more than 3 million tonnes of fuel each year. A trip inland to the nearby small town of Arucas is certainly a good way to become familiar with the island. Bananas made this city rich, as also did sugarcane plantations, and the opuntia cactus, the host plant of the cochineal insect. The island's prosperity is plain to see in the old town. The famous stonemasons of the Gran Canaria built this, a cathedral of blue-black basalt rock. An imposing building influenced by the architecture of the Sagrada Familia and dedicated to John the Baptist. Inside, stained glass rosettes illuminated a huge cross-ribbed vault designed by a student of architect Antonio Gaudi. Powerful columns tapered towards the top support the ceiling of the neo-Gothic building that was consecrated in 1912. Although this apparent Gothic masterpiece is not a cathedral, what a sight it is. This is the dormant Christ. The Plaza de la Constitución is the city's main square, whose beautiful townhouses were built during the island's banana boom. In the course of a recent rebuilding program, some further changes were made. Arucas is known for its rum distillery, whose origins date back to 1884. This was the Canary Islands' first large steam-powered sugar factory. Since 1911, popular international products have been produced in the Destillerías Arucas rum distillery, such as Ron Blanco and Ron Oro. It's one of Europe's most important rum distilleries. Its quality products are distributed worldwide, but the most important raw material, sugarcane, is now imported. Back in Las Palmas, the Playa de las Canteras is well worth a visit. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in the world and comparable with Rio's Copacabana. A mile-long promenade alongside a white, sandy, palm-lined beach with fine sea views and an array of modern hotels. From early morning until late at night, the beach is full of life. A great retreat for one and all. A special feature of this splendid beach lies further out in the warm, clean waters of the Atlantic Ocean, La Barra. The reef calms down the surf and creates a gigantic natural swimming pool. This, the colourful capital with 500 years of history, is a wonderful island city and lively port. Las Palmas is both a metropolis and a boomtown in one, and the only place in the glorious Canary Islands that has that big city feeling.